Addiction is a real-world problem. However, unfortunately, addiction isn't seen but felt by the addict, their friends, and family members. Although video game addiction hasn't been around as long as tobacco, alcohol, or narcotic addiction, it is still a very real phenomenon that is becoming apparent at an alarming rate. Video games have many different genres, and more are being created every year, but one genre in particular appears to be taking control of players' lives more than any other, leaving them addicted. Addiction in massively multiplayer online role-playing games, otherwise known as MMORPGs, is an increasing danger due to the appealing nature of the social interaction, achievements, and the escapes from real life. In an essay written by Dr. Yi, he had looked at how people viewed the social aspect of the MMORPG. According to the open-ended questions that he had asked, players made statements such as that they preferred online relationships over real-life relationships, partially due to the fact that there are no physical prejudices being made. Also, they felt they had a greater amount of close friends in MMORPGs than in their real life. This part of the social aspect can appeal to many players, keeping them coming back for more. All they have to do is log on and then start typing. Another factor of social interaction that is almost possible to leave is that of romances that form in MMORPGs. While talking about a quest objective or something that happened in the player's real life that day is common, some would be alarmed that out of 861 males and 155 females, 11.6% of the males and 25.6% of the females confessed to falling in love with another player on the game. With this kind of emotion developing in the game, it is no mystery that some of these gamers keep logging on day after day. They continue to play even if having these online relationships can affect their academic, health, financial, or relationships. Are there any questions so far?
Are there other social interaction factors that encourage the players to play more than they would otherwise?
Studies show that there are. The first reason is that they have to stay caught up with their friends if they want to be able to go to the same areas. This creates somewhat of a chain reaction influencing everyone in that social network. Second, the players may end up consciously or subconsciously just creating a play schedule where all members just show up at the same time, even if they live in different areas of the world. Finally, the more friends you have, the more obligations you'll end up having. Now, what draws these players in at the beginning of the game is that they are rewarded almost instantly. Usually within a half an hour, they've already achieved a few levels and gained an understanding of the basic mechanics of the game. However, once that pace begins to slow down, MMORPGs introduce other options to work on simultaneously with each other. For instance, crafting items becomes available early in the game, typically when a player reaches their first major city. This is strategically placed in line with the expected leveling time frame. Questing comes into play around the same time. Now there are many goals that help the player not become frustrated while working on their main goal of leveling their character. Because of this architecture, players end up staying longer than they would have with a linear reward system. This graph shows about 78% of the people that play these games, at least sometimes, already have a goal in mind when they log in. Not only are the achievements provided by the creator of the game, achievements are also created by the players themselves. During the journey to the maximum level, players often think about what they personally want to accomplish in the game. Examples of this would be to be known as a well-known merchant, lead a successful guild and in-game content, or possibly playing through the game again with every role in the game. The extent of these goals depends largely on the type of game that is being played, but these MMORPGs are designed to keep the players involved. They offer endless experiences for those willing to put in the time. With a reward system that never ends and continuously provides a way to achieve these goals, players have a difficulty knowing when it has been too much because of what's going on in the brain. Are there any questions?
How do achievements affect a player's brain?
To research this farther, a group of scientists in 1998 conducted a brain scan called a positron emission tomography, otherwise known as PET, that involved injecting a radioactive tracer into the body to retrieve a 3D image of how the brain would react to stimulants. The scientists were looking for dopamine levels, which is the chemical that is produced in the brain to reinforce stimulus that we find pleasurable. What they found was that when a player achieved a goal, there was a spike in the dopamine levels, sometimes doubling. Surprisingly, the level of dopamine that was produced was equivalent to an injection of amphetamines. Now, everyone in the world has, from a newborn to a grandma, experiences both good and bad stress. Sadly, not everyone knows how to cope with it. For some, watching television, taking a hot bath, or reading a book may help them escape from this stress. And for some, they escape into a whole new virtual world, complete with politics, economy, and people trying to take over that world. Because of this immersion, players typically play to get away and stay for one of four reasons. This slide states that players' games shows how players may feel as if they accumulate a lot of stress daily. Richard Bartle, the father of the first MMORPG, at that time called a MUD for multi-user dungeon, concluded there are four motivations that players tend to stay around for. The four reasons that completely immerse the players were achievements, exploration, socializing, and imposition. Because of the nature of MMORPGs, they offer all four of these elements simultaneously. A player can cause trouble to another player while completing a quest and talking to a friend via a chat box in a newly discovered area. All four motivations happening at once is a rare occurrence because that would cause complete imbalance of these finely tuned programs. Interestingly, media researchers have done studies that show how quickly people actually begin to think they are these objects that they have manipulated on a computer screen. As is the case with all hobbies in life, MMORPGs can be a fun way to spend your time and play in moderation. Not all players who play these games are going to become addicts, refusing to do anything but try and save the world again from a new threat. Addiction in massive multiplayer online role-playing games is an increasing danger due to the appealing nature of social interactions, achievements, and the escape from real life. There are certainly positive aspects associated with these games. Players can spend time with loved ones, meet new friends, all from the comfort of their own home, achieve great feats, or escape from everyday life. Socially, players can become addicted because of spending time with people they care about, whether in-game or out-of-game. Accomplishing goals can be addictive for anyone, and if you can do it without hurting yourself and do things you could never do, the lure is appealing for some and irresistible for others. Everyone needs to escape, everyone has their own way. But when that escape is an entire new world that a person becomes a part of, it can be hard to remember where the line between reality and fantasy lies. Thank you very much.